were you surprised at the 7 D-linemen that we kept?
Those guys specifically or the number?
Just the number in general.
The number 7?
Because I know that was the conversation initially when we had brought in Loudermilk and then drafted DeMarvin. It was like, man, typically you're going to roll with like 6 of those dudes.
Are you saying 7's too much?
No, I'm just asking to you.
Typically.
Yeah.
Is that what it typically is too much? Usually it's 6.
I mean, it's...
Because wide receivers, we were
Right.
usually 6.
Yeah.
And we had 7. No, you keep all those guys.
Okay.
There's not one name on that list where I'm like, hey, you had to cut.
Hey, dude, I
No,
agree.
if they would have cut DeMarvin Leal,
You can't cut DeMarvin. Get out of here, bro.
I would have been in an uproar.
Think what it...
Loudermilk, I still think there's something there. Montravius Adams, he's like that steady backup defensive tackle for you. And you're not cutting Wormley, Alu, Ogunjobi, or Cam.
Yeah.
It works out for me. I think they made a good decision on that.
Yeah. So when I look at DeMarvin, obviously, bro, he was, the 3rd round pick? They ain't moving on for him the same year they drafted him.
Well, and he played good.
Yeah. That's my thing. And he looks like he
There
has
was
a chance
no
to be...
shot in hell.
Yeah, it looks like he has a chance. He has a lot of upside with
I guess
his...
Loudermilk would have been
Yeah.
the guy if you had to pick one.
To me, the 2 dudes that stood out that initially when training camp started that I said could be in danger was Loudermilk and Montravius Adams. And the reason was this. I said with Loudermilk, I thought that he played really well last year. I thought that he could have gotten more reps if it wasn't for Chris Wormley playing as well as he did. Wormley just played too good. He's too consistent. He's the poor man's Cam Hayward. And that's why I'm like a fan of his game, because he's so fundamentally sound. It's like, boom, boom, boom. You just know what you're going to get out of him. He wins when he's supposed to win. So part of me was like, man, if Loudermilk has a bad camp, maybe with him being a 5th rounder, they're not going to feel as inclined to keep him. Montravius, I was like, well, you know, we brought him on late in the season last year. Now, he came in and helped us out, but he was a late addition, so he doesn't have that homegrown feeling. Then, because of how training camp was going, we also saw that Montravius missed a ton of time. That's the other part for me where I was like, man, I thought that he was going to get that axe because he hasn't been available. I do think the reason why they decided to roll with Montravius, though, is because he's backing up Tyson. Tyson is older. He's not old because he's my age, and that's my dude. 2010 draft class, you better keep holding it down for us, baby. Keep holding it down.
Yeah, who else are we going to have on this defensive line to be that
was
locked-in backup?
Like, he could legit play nose, and then you could legit bump him to the 3 when you're playing nickel. And, yes, he is a upgrade over Henry Mondeau. We all would agree with that. And Henry's the dude. Like, Henry, I got nothing but love for Henry, man. Obviously, friend of the show, too, man. Shout out to Henry. But we know Henry isn't capable of playing the way that Montravius is able to play. So I do hope that this means that Montravius, whatever he's been dealing with injury-wise, is not as significant, and we should be having him by week 1, hopefully. That's the part for me that I'm like, all right, if we're doing this, this needs to be he's back available to us.